Hello everybody, welcome back to Steph's Movies and Music. I'm of course your host, Steph. Today I will be filming two different concert reviews. Both of them are actually from the same concert though. The first one's going to be focused on the band Live. That's this one right here. That's the one you're watching right now. And then the next one's going to be focused on the band Collective Soul. Now there's a few different reasons why I'm separating them into two different videos. If you're interested in knowing why, I'm more than happy to tell you. Just stay till the end of the video and I'll let you know in the post-credit sequence. Let's go ahead and focus on the task at hand. How does Live sound live in concert in 2025? Really good, as a matter of fact. I really was impressed actually by how they sounded. And then we'll also be talking about the set list. And I'll be showing you clips from the concert itself. And so hopefully if you're thinking about buying tickets or if you're just wondering how they sound nowadays, hopefully I'm able to help you out a little bit with this review. So going back to how they sounded, the lead singer sounds great. He sounds pretty much almost exactly the same as to how he sounded 30 years ago, back when most of this music was coming out. And once again, I was really impressed. He was also up there playing the guitar. Nothing crazy as far as his guitar playing goes. Everything sounded great, not only on his behalf, but the other people performing with him's behalf as well. They all did a great job replicating the music that Ed and the rest of his former bandmates made back in the day. You might have noticed that I'm talking a little weird when it comes to the other people performing with Ed. And the reason for that is the lead singer is actually the only official member in the band. The rest of them are technically just touring musicians. And it's kind of a long story. I'll try to give you kind of a quick and dirty version. A number of years ago, the band was kind of struggling with their lead singer. I believe it was something about either alcohol or drug use, or maybe a mixture of the both. So he fell victim to it, and he was eventually able to get himself out of that, but not before the rest of the band basically kicked him out. Ed Cowlick was able to get the rights to the band. I don't know if he bought the rights or if he won them through a cycle of lawsuits or, you know, whatever the case is. He got the rights back, and as soon as he did, he fired the rest of his former bandmates, and he continued to be the lead singer himself, and he hired a bunch of touring musicians to fill in the gaps, basically. Yeah, that's the version of Live that you will see if you go and see them now. So yeah, it is a bummer, and that's probably one of the biggest disappointments when it comes to seeing Live. Ed's the lead singer. He's the only original and official member of the band, and then everybody else is a touring musician. And I don't want to say that as in like a derogatory term or anything. They're all talented. The guitarist is very talented. The drummer's very good too. So we talked about the band and their lineup, and we also talked about how they sounded. Let's go ahead and talk about the set list. Right off the bat, they started off with a bunch of hits. First one being Pain Lies on the Riverside. And then right after that, they did Selling the Drama. And then right after that, they did All Over You. All Over You is probably one of my favorites by Live. Very catchy. They have many great songs. I'm more of a casual fan, but whenever they come on the radio, I listen. The next up, they had a song called Iris, and then they played a newer song called Lady Bang, She Got Me Rolling. Wasn't a fan of it. Me personally, it's just not my thing. It is a newer song, came out like 2024, I believe. Then they played a song, TBD, and then they played Shit Town, which is both a hilarious song, a lot of people laughed, but it's also a really good song, and it was a great performance of it as well. I wish I recorded some of it, but I didn't. Then right after that, they played The Dolphins Cry. Then they played another newer song called Leave the Radio On. That came out within the last couple years as well. Then they played Rattlesnake, And then right after that, they played Lakini's Juice. And then right after that, they played Turn My Head, which is one of my favorites by them. And then right after that, they played I Alone, which is another huge one. And then finally, their closing song was Lightning Crashes, which is a very emotional song. It seemed to be kind of a fan favorite. That song probably means a lot to a lot of different people. Just the way that it is, the way that it's arranged, the way that it's sang, the amount of, emotion that goes into that song. And once again, they just nailed it. It was a great performance on Live's behalf. So all in all, we got 14 songs. I heard everything that I wanted to hear by them, and then some. Some people that are a little bit more into like the deeper tracks might be a little bit disappointed. I actually just pulled this out of my collection for this video. This is a copy of Throwing Copper from Live. This is their biggest album, came out in 1994, and it's a 8 times platinum selling album here in the United States. And a bunch of the songs we just talked about are on this album. You got Selling the Drama, I Alone, Iris, Lightning Crashes, All Over You, Shittown, TBD. I mean, like almost half the set list was basically just on this album alone. So now the question, do I recommend seeing Live in concert? Yes, of course I do. Any fans of alternative rock or 90s music in general are gonna love what Live has to offer in concert. I don't think anybody's gonna be disappointed. The only reason why I kinda hesitate there is because, once again, the lead singer, Ed, is the only original and official member of the band. The rest are basically just hirelings that still do a great job, but they're not the people that played on the albums and were there for their success, and that's gonna bump some people out. And it kind of bummed me out, but once again, as long as at the end of the day they sound great, I'm gonna be happy. Yes, I absolutely recommend seeing Live in concert, and I guess that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and take care. Alright, I mentioned this before, but let's now finally talk about why I want to separate these out into 2 different videos. Let me go kind of back to the start here. First of all, there was 4 different acts throughout this entire concert. The first one being some young lady, who I forget the name of, I'll put it on the screen here. And nothing against her, but I wasn't really a fan of what she was doing. And then next up was a band called Our Lady Peace. They're a Canadian band they had some success in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were pretty good. I was happy with their performance. They only played about 6 songs. And then after them was Live. And then after Live is Collective Soul, which you'll see in the next video. And all of that is a lot to talk about. Even just excluding the first 2 openers. That's really just like the first hour and 15 minutes of the concert, really. You still have like another 2.5 hours to go with, the total amount of time that Live performed and the amount of time that Collective Soul performed. And a lot of people, unfortunately, only watched about the first 5 minutes of these videos. And so if I go on to talk about 2 different bands for like 20 minutes each, and people will only see like the first 5 minutes of that, and so 40 minutes of the video are completely useless. So this should help with some of that, for 1. For 2, I don't have another concert review coming out for quite some time after these 2. don't get me wrong, I have concerts coming up that I will be reviewing, but they're a little far out right now. I have some time on my hands. I might as well make 2 different videos. You'll see this one, and then after you see this, within the next 2 weeks, the Collective Soul one should be coming out. At least that's how I'm planning it out. Hopefully everything goes okay. And, I mean, most importantly, I have enough material to go off of for both bands. You know, I had enough to say about Live, and I have plenty to say about Collective Soul. I don't know. I mean, maybe you can let me know if you'd rather have everything just jumbled into one video. I feel like it's more concise this way. That's just my opinion. Let me know down below what you think. Alright, last thing here, we got a t-shirt. Not the prettiest t-shirt that I've gotten from a concert, but it's pretty cool. It's very comfortable, very soft. It's gray. A lot of t-shirts I end up getting from concerts are black. A couple of them have been white, but I don't see a lot of gray ones there. They're usually black. And I like this one. It was $45, which of course is outrageous. And then Collective Souls was also $45. They had a really cool looking one too, and I was really tempted to get it. Several times I almost went back and got that shirt, but I didn't end up doing it. I wanted to save as much money as I could. I had already spent $45 on that, and then the concert ticket itself was $90, which, considering how close I was, is not bad at all. And then parking was another $25, and the nachos was like $15 or $20. I can't remember which. So that's already more than enough money to spend on one particular thing. So, you know, I wanted to try to leave without spending another arm and a leg, basically. Because then I'd just be one big torso and one ginormous head. So, and that's no fun. So anyway, I was just trying to avoid doing that. Anyway, I can't stay and chat too long. I got a Collective Soul review to film after this. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You could also do super chats. Those are all different ways you could support the channel. Alright guys, I love you. Take care. Steph signing off.